The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Automatic Fantasy. They're up to customers, play just $5, $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Currently Wednesday morning, November 19th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Reichel. Once again, joined by Lonte Smith together, going to break down the games on the Wednesday card. Lonte, how's it going with you? Yesterday's action was pretty, I'd say, interesting. I mean, you had one game on TV, which was pretty disgusting, but it came down to the wire between the Grizzlies and the Spurs. Besides that, a couple of games were close, but you ended up seeing LeBron come back, and he ended up having an okay game, double-double in his first game back. Lonte, how's it going with you? What's up?
Yeah, not much, man. It was good. That Memphis Spurs game was pretty good, especially at the end. The Spurs kind of pulled away really fast.
The second half was. The first half was some of the worst basketball I've seen all season. But yes, it was close.
Yeah, so sucks if you had the Memphis plus the points, but overall decent. Today's card is rough, man. It's really rough outside of one game, but hopefully we can navigate, try to find some winners.
Yeah, I mean, going through the Grizzlies game, because I was actually sweating out Edey for a double-double, which was a disgusting loss. He had 0 points in the entire second half, finished with 8 points. Yeah, Edey, I'll put it this way. I know that he, of course, can still rebound and rim protect and whatever. He's really rough to watch offensively. Like, really rough to watch. He had a couple of missed layups there in the final 2 minutes, which kind of catapulted the Spurs on that massive run, because not only did he miss the 2 shots, but he can't really get back on defense because he's so slow. So he gave up a couple of fast break opportunities there. But Edey missing those 2 layups, I thought really just killed the game for Memphis. They might have lost the game anyway because that team isn't very talented. When you're looking at the injuries they currently have, Jaren Jackson Jr. having to have solid offensive games. I thought Vince Williams played well. He almost had a triple-double there, but the Edey missed the layups just killed me for the double-double, and I thought killed Memphis. I thought those were the quote-unquote turning points of the game in the final 2 minutes was the 2 Edey misses. But either way, nice win for San Antonio. Castle, of course, is out for a couple weeks. Same with Wemby, but Fox is doing Fox things, helping the team find ways to win. Nice job by them. Said before, LeBron did his thing, and Luka, of course, had a monster game. Utah looked good for the first, half or so, but they can't guard anybody. So they gave up 140. Not too shocking there. Detroit keeps winning. Nice job by Cade to kind of put the game on ice late. My Nets stink. Orlando winning again without Paolo. What else is new? A nice win at home against the Warriors. And the Suns looked good, beating the Trailblazers by 17 on the road. So I'll ask you, though, before we officially get into the games for Wednesday, any other things you want to talk about from the games yesterday?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. Went over LeBron, went over the Memphis game. Yeah, it was pretty lackluster, to be honest. But I think we hit everything. The Magic game was pretty good. The Magic Warriors game was pretty good.
Yeah, Magic game was good, but once again, worth mentioning, the Magic in Paolo's entire career have a higher winning percentage when he doesn't play. So we're going to throw that out there too. Either way, we'll see how long Paolo's out for, but Orlando looks pretty decent at the moment. Then again, you could argue the Warriors are just very old, and they're also really bad on the road. So you can make that argument too. But either way, nice win for Orlando against Golden State. Anyway, moving on to the games for Wednesday. Before we get into any of the games there, a reminder that we also have a couple of nice holiday options, and you can get a nice discount for those. So gear up for the holidays at the SGPN merch store. Perfect gift for the DGens in your life. Promo code HOLIDAY for a quarter off everything in the merch store. Once again, a quarter off everything, whether it involves NBA Gambling Podcast stuff, MLB Gambling Podcast stuff, Tennis Gambling Podcast stuff, everything. Check out the options we have. Use code HOLIDAY for a quarter off your purchase. Anyway, moving on to the games here for Wednesday, starting off with what could be the game of the day. Probably is, to be honest, because you have 2 good teams going at it. You have the Rockets on the road, who are favorites against the Cavaliers. Rockets are laying 1.5. The over-unders at 233.5. For the injury report for these teams, I see Smith is questionable for Houston. Besides that, Eason is out, and we know Finney Smith and Van Vliet are still out. For Cleveland, I see Merrill's questionable. Strus is still out, Garland is out, and Tyson is out. So mostly full strength, but you have potentially no Jabari and you have no Merrill potentially for Cleveland. Houston laying 1.5. I understand why, but we know Cleveland at home in the land, it does have a good home court environment. I'll ask you, Lonte, do you like the road team here laying points or the home team getting points?
Yeah, man, I wish the injuries were turned off. This game would be a whole lot better, and with both teams at full strength. But I mean, I think this is a big spot for Cleveland, so I would go into the direction. I mean, they're in the midst of 6-game homestand. They haven't. You talked about it. They played well at home historically, but not so far this year. I mean, 2-6 ATS at home. They're 5-10 ATS overall. And Houston's, 8-4 ATS, 5-1 on the road. But I think Cleveland, with their two big lineup, this is something that they could kind of combat with Houston's size. They'll rebound the ball well. So look out for Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to have monster games. And they have to be, led by those two big men, because stopping Sengun, obviously the Durant thing is a whole different level as well. And matching the physicality is going to be key. And I think Cleveland's up for it. So I'm going to take Cleveland at home. I think it'll be a really, really good game, high scoring, but I like Cleveland at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think even though I do like what Houston's done so far this season, the fact is when you're looking at the bully ball that the Rockets play, the Cavaliers are better equipped to handle that compared to other teams around the league. When you have Allen and you have Mobley, I do think the home court should matter in this game for Cleveland, because we know that the environment there is solid. Houston might win this game. I'm not going to tell you that it's a guaranteed Cavs win, but I do think when you're looking at taking the home team, a good home team like the Cavaliers, actually getting some plus money on the money line, I don't mind that. So far this season, Houston on the road is 4-2. So they have been good on the road, but Cleveland is 6-2 at home. I'll go with Cleveland with you in this game. I do think that it's going to be a coin flip, comes down to the wire. I'll take the home team in this environment. I do understand that without Garland, though, you have a lot of pressure on Mitchell. And if Mitchell does have the Almond experience, maybe he can have an off game, and that can kind of sabotage what Cleveland wants to do offensively. But I think if I had to go for an actual pick here, it'd be Cleveland in this one. Any thoughts on the over-under?
Yeah, I probably would go over. Houston, nobody's been able to slow Houston's offense down, and Cleveland, when they get going, I'm worried about Miro though. Like he jammed his, I think he jammed a couple of his fingers, or maybe something happened to his hand early in that game. I mean, he still was like 6 of 9 from 3, but he talked about it after the game.
Yeah, he officially has a hand sprain.
Yeah, so he talked about it. I mean, he still was able to do it. He said it was mostly adrenaline. So I would go over. I think the pace will be there. Obviously, the efficiency in the half court for the Rockets is much higher than what the Cavs is, but I think the Cavs have to get up and down so they won't have to, go against that set defense of Houston. So I expect it to be a little bit of a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind the Rockets' first half. If you want to go for a creative play, you can do Rockets' first half, Cavs full game. Cleveland's been off to some slow starts lately. They've been winning games because they've been going on runs in the fourth quarter or the third quarter like Milwaukee and Memphis. But I have seen Cleveland struggling out of the gates. So maybe Houston jumps them early and then Cleveland settles in. So I don't mind that angle if you want to go for a bolder plus money play. Rockets first half, Cavs full game. Then that could be an option for you. Moving on to a game that's much worse on paper. Where is the drop? Because I definitely need it for this one. Yeah, these teams stink. The Hornets taking on the Pacers. Hornets laying 1.5 against Indiana for the over-under. I see 237.5. Now, LaMelo's playing in this game, at least according to the report now. Of course, Brandon Miller's still out, no Josh Green, etc., but LaMelo's playing, kind of the main injury news every single game. For Indiana, they're 1-13. They can't even beat the Nets. I'll ask you, Lonte, do you remember the one team they beat?
Indy, who did they beat? Toronto?
No, they beat Golden State.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, they did. They did.
They beat Golden State. Only win they've had this entire season. 1-13. For the injury report, no Furphy, no Jackson, no Cam Jones, no Nesmith, no Toppin. Mathurin, though, of course, is back, and, of course, Halliburton's out for the year. So for the actual status of these teams, they both stink. Now, we saw the Hornets lose a heartbreaker to Toronto last game, but they were competitive, and Toronto's not that bad. So at least they had a decent showing there. Fell short, but at least they have some talent on the roster with LaMelo and Bridges, and if you want to throw in even off the bench, Sexton. who's been pretty good this season.
Second's good. Yeah.
For Indiana, this team sucks. Like, I've watched them play. They are bad at everything. They can't guard any position at this point. Mathurin might get them some scoring punch, but they still can't really guard the paint. Their transition defense stinks, which is a really bad sign against LaMelo. I think this spread is actually pretty cheap. I understand Indiana at home in years past has been a dangerous team. This team is garbage. I'm not saying that Charlotte's good, but they're still better than this Indiana team. And LaMelo's actually healthy, so I'll take Charlotte in this game. Indiana, I cannot take against anybody. This team can't defend. The offensive depth is not there. Yes, I know you have McConnell at point guard and you have Mathurin. You could argue with Siakam as well. Maybe they can find a way to combine for 70-plus points. Good luck to you because you can't guard anybody. Give me Charlotte -1.5.
Yeah, I will go with Charlotte as well. Not something that I love. The Hornets are playing like they're more competitive, and their record doesn't indicate it, but they're playing really well. And this was without LaMelo, and now he's back. He's got a few games under his belt. I think his minutes should tick up a little bit. I mean, they just don't have the guys. Indiana just doesn't have the guys to defend. It should be a freeway to the basket for Charlotte. So I would look for maybe some Kalkbrenner stuff. I think he'll have a really good game.
His double-double's 425.
Yeah, I think that's really. I think that'll be worth it as well. But yeah, Charlotte probably. I mean, obviously they're the better team. Indy at home 1-5 straight up, 2-8 ATS the last 10. So yeah, I think Charlotte could be. They're playing better. They're playing for the coach. Charles Lee talked about the fight and all the things that have going right. They just can't finish down the stretch. They've been in every game just about. They just can't finish.
Yeah, the last couple of games. I mean, they lost to Milwaukee in overtime. LaMelo's on min restriction. They almost beat Milwaukee with Giannis playing. That's not that bad. And Toronto's been good. They went into Toronto and they almost won. So it's like, as you mentioned, Charlotte's been losing, but at least they're competitive in these games. Indiana's getting boat raced.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's my handicap for the game. I'm going with Charlotte. Better, they're playing better. Obviously, record doesn't indicate it, but Charlotte's a feisty team.
I think that's the word I'll use. They're not good, but at least they're competitive more often than not. Moving on to the exact same scenario, but the teams are slightly better. You have Toronto laying 1.5 on the road, taking on the Sixers. The over-under's at 234.5. Now, we saw Philly escape with a win against the Clippers, which, to be honest, they really didn't deserve, but a win's a win. All that matters. For Toronto, they escaped with a win, too, against Charlotte. They didn't look great, but a win is a win. Now, Toronto's laying 1.5. I'll point out they're 6-3 on the road. Philly is 5-2 at home. For the injury report for these teams, Toronto is pretty much fully healthy. Murray Boyles might not play. He's questionable. Agbaji's probable, but besides that, no one else is listed. For Philly, you have no front court besides Drummond. You have no Oubre, you have no Paul George, you have no Bona, and Embiid is doubtful. So it might be a very big Drummond game because they have nobody else who can play center for this team. Now I'm going to ask you for this one, Lonte, kind of the same exact scenario as the last two games. In fact, the first three games on the card all have the road team laying 1.5, which is pretty weird. But either way, do you like Philly at home or do you like Toronto on the road laying 1.5?
Yeah, I like Philly at home, man. I like them at home. I do like Toronto, though. I think Toronto's been a good story. I mean, they're currently first place in the Atlantic Division. They've won 4 in a row. They've covered 6 of the last 10, and they're really good on the road. They've covered 6 of 10 on the road as well. Great win versus Cleveland a few days back. But
they're 2-0 against Cleveland this season.
Say it again.
They're 2-0 against Cleveland this season.
Yeah. So I mean, Philadelphia, they are down some pieces, but they got some depth. I like their younger guys. Obviously, Grimes, Justin Edwards, the two-headed monster, and Maxey and VJ. VJ's kind of got it going a little bit more. And without Embiid, I mean, he's been out for the past 4 games. Drummond has had 4 straight double-doubles in his absence, so he's been fine. I think that they'll make Toronto shoot the ball from 3 because that's one of their weaknesses. I mean, Philly's 9-3-1 ATS, 6-1-1 as a favorite, so they're doing their job. There was a 10-point win a few weeks ago at home. I like Philly to get it done here. I mean, I know they're missing some guys, but as a dog at home, I like them to get it done here.
Yeah, I see Bing Bong mentioning that he doesn't want to bet on the Sixers with Paul George on the floor, Ewing theory. They pulled off the win when he ended up playing in the first game, but he didn't look good. I think he was 2 of 9 from the floor, so we'll see how that goes. But I saw a comment earlier as well from Bing Bong as well about if Paul George was listed out last game, then he suited up, now he's out again. From what I remember Paul George was questionable for the last game, and he ended up playing. But now he's out because Philly is playing a back-to-back. This is the front end of the back-to-back. They play Milwaukee in a game that looked a lot better about a week ago before Giannis got ruled out for a week or two. But either way, they're going to be careful with Paul George, but they want him to play the game against Milwaukee, and a back-to-back was not an option. So that's how they are going to approach that one. I'll go Toronto in this one. I think Toronto is a team that I just trust the scoring depth a bit more. I know Maxi's been a lunatic this season who could walk into 30-plus in any game. I know that Terrell and I liked him to go for a massive game against the Clippers and he had 39. So we know Maxi can have a great game. Drummond's been fantastic, and he actually learned how to shoot a little bit at the late stage of his career. Good for him. But either way, I guess the question that I have is, do I think that Maxi can do this by himself? I know Edgecombe's kind of cooled off a bit lately. He's not been playing badly, but he set the bar so high when he started out his career. He has regressed a bit more. But you have Edwards and Barlow and a couple other guys who I don't really trust offensively. Toronto's starting lineup has a bunch of scores, whether it involves Quickly, Ingram, Barrett, Barnes, even Pirtle can have the occasional 15-point game. The bench is still pretty good. You're throwing in Shed. Murray Boyles, when healthy, I think can also be a decent threat there. Grady Dick off the bench. I just think Toronto's deeper, and with how they've played recently, I like the form. So I'll go for Toronto in this game, actually. I think Toronto has more scoring depth. I think it'll be close, but I trust the options they have a bit more than Philly. Besides Maxey and a little bit of Edgecombe there, do you like their other options? Because Oubre's not playing. He's been pretty good this season.
I mean, they're obviously Toronto's top end is a lot deeper and better than what they are, but I think that Justin Edwards, Quentin Grimes, those guys, those ancillary pieces will play better at home. So I think they could pretty much match what the Raptors want to do. And it was a good point by Free Sauce in the chat. He was talking about Maxey versus Quickly. They played together at Kentucky. I forgot all about that. So yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup as well. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, no, I don't think that Philly's 4, 5, and 6 are better than Toronto's 4, 5, and 6, or even 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
But I think at home they'll play a little bit better, and VJ and Maxey will bring them home. So I'm trusting in that. Drummond, a good rim protector, he should have a good game. They don't have a ton of size on the interior for Toronto, so Maxey should be able to get downhill, VJ get downhill, and if they can get downhill consistently and open up the shooting pockets of those other guys, and they can knock down shots, I think they got a shot to win it.
Yeah, I think the game will be close, but agree to disagree.
Sure.
I'll pick the deeper team to win what looks like a coin flip game from top to bottom. Before we get into the remainder of the card for Wednesday, a reminder, brought to you by our sponsor, Novig. So if you want to check out some nice prediction markets with good prices, check out Novig, which is the number one prediction market for sports in America. Get some reduced juice, great prices on props, sides, totals, you name it. But check out Novig. They also have futures. So check it out if you want to get some good prices. Available in 35 plus states. Download the app when you do so. Get a nice deal with us. Get $50 when you spend just $5 if use our code SGPN and extra Novig, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. So if you want to check out pick'em entries, I recommend checking out Underdog because you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Pick higher or lower on player stats. You can also mix and match your sports. Mix in NFL with NBA, with NHL, with MMA. You can really do whatever you want. A lot of options there for Underdog, so check it out. They also have a new offer for new customers. Play just $5, $100 in bonus funds. Use promo code NBASGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games for the card on Wednesday. Time to move on into the next game. The Warriors, who played yesterday, playing again. I've lost count on how many back-to-backs the Warriors have played, but Steve Kerr's not happy. Kerr's been complaining about the schedule this season. Honestly, I agree with him. I know it's going to sound like first world problems where you're getting paid millions of dollars and you're complaining about the schedule. Golden State's played so many back-to-backs already as one of the older teams in the league. It is kind of insane. But either way, they were in Florida for the Orlando game, staying in the same state, different spot in the state, though, taking on the Heat. Now, the Heat are laying 6.5. The over-under's at 234.5. For the injury report, Curry's questionable, so we'll see if he plays in this one. Kuminga's questionable too. As for Miami, only good news right now. You still have Hero out. Rozier might never play again, but Bam might come back. He's questionable for this game, so we'll see if Bam's able to return. You know what? Nice split. by Miami against the Knicks. Shamma dropped 36 on them, hard a triple-double. They got buried. And the Heat said, you know what? We're not going to get beaten twice. And they were able to beat the Knicks. Nice comeback win there. Cat missed a couple shots there at the end. I don't know what that hook shot was by McBride for the attempt there. I'm sure you saw it. I don't know what that shot attempt was.
Yeah.
But either way, nice job by the Heat winning that game. Bam might come back, which is a big deal, especially against the Warriors, who are pretty limited from a front court perspective. Curry might not play, but the Heat are laying a bunch of points. So I'll ask you, Lonte, Curry had 30 and change yesterday, and they still lost because, of course, they did. Butler had a good game, too, still lost. So I'll ask you, Golden State's not very good, right? Like, we're looking at Curry trying to carry the entire team. They're older. The defense has not been as good lately, and they're on a back-to-back. So I kind of like Miami in this spot, but I understand, historically speaking, you don't want to lay 3 possessions with Miami. So it's kind of tricky. But what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami. I mean, I don't think anybody plays for Golden State. I mean, this is kind of Kerr's way of kind of sticking it to the NBA about the scheduling that you talked about. I mean, he repeats. He continues to talk about it at every presser. So I don't think they're going to play off of that back-to-back. Like they, cruised to a victory. Cruised and, sat those guys down. I mean, they were in a competitive game and they just happened to come up short. This is their 6th straight road game. The road splits are not favorable for them as well. So they'll likely be resting a ton of guys.
Just to mention that, by the way, Golden State on the road is 4-7 so far this season straight up. The Heat are 6-1.
Yeah, and the Heat are 6-1 ATS at home as well. Their defense does struggle, but again, with all those guys missing, I don't know how Golden State scores. Maybe you want to look at Will Richard because Will Richard he's been really good when those guys have sat. But the Heat are giving up 130 plus in 4 of the last 5. Now, Bam missed all of those games. He's likely to be back. So the defense will be a little bit better, obviously, with him manning the paint. And, I mean, they got Hero coming back this week, supposedly. He returned to practice. He's supposed to be ready this week. So the Heat are a team that I'll be watching out for, especially at the top of the year when they get a lot more reps underneath them. But, I like the Heat laying the points here. I think Golden State, this will be a game that they kind of punt under Curry.
Yeah, I see a couple comments in the comment section about the Heat being overrated. That might not be the word I would use. I feel like the Heat are a team going into the season based on Heat culture. We just thought they'd be a play-in team. Probably best case scenario is 6 seed. That's kind of where they're at. Like, I don't think the Heat are an amazing team, but you know what? They're entertaining. And that's something I never thought I'd be able to say about Miami. But the fact is they adopted the old Grizzlies offense, and now they're extremely fun to watch. Overrated is not the word I'd use. I think they're fine. I feel like Miami's a team that's better than people thought they were going to be going into the season. But overrated is not the word I'd use. I think that they're fine, especially in a weak Eastern Conference where Boston's a 500 team, Indiana stinks. There are a lot of bad teams in the East. Miami's better than those teams. Like, I don't think Miami's overrated, but I don't think they're going to be a top 4, top 5 team in the East. I got them around 6 or 7. Do you agree with that? If you had to rank Miami?
I mean, I would probably say they're like 4th or 5th one.
I'm saying I don't think they're overrated. They're just not that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
fine.
I think they're fun. I think they're fun. I mean, obviously they're gonna be, they're gonna win the coaching battle 100% of the time that they play against everybody else. But I think they're fun. I mean, they probably are, Hero, another shot creator, some depth on the interior. They don't really have a lot of interior depth. I know Bam and Ware are there, but not a ton of guys behind them as well. So,
well, that's the question mark. The question is, can you actually start Ware and Bam together? Which I'm still not sure you could actually do. So we'll see if they bring Ware off the bench now. But that's kind of the thing, though, is Miami, even with their record right now being what it is, which is just pulling up the exact numbers here, they're 8-6. A reminder that Bam's barely played and Hero hasn't played.
Yeah,
so the fact that they're over 500 is still pretty good.
Yeah, in the East, I mean, they'll be a top. I think they'll be a top 5 seed in the East. I think they'll avoid the play-in for the first time in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing though, is that I can't call Miami overrated until I see them with their full cast, and we haven't seen them with their full cast yet. So based on them actually being over 500 with the injuries they've had, I'm going to give props to Miami. They were able to hold serve, stay afloat while Bam and Hero were out. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But I think they're fine in general. But I see JR saying that they're probably going to be like a 7 to 9 seed. honestly, a 7 seed's fine. That was my preseason expectation. Miami's win total going in was 37.5. So it wasn't like they were expected to be a great team. But I do think they'll go over that win total of 37.5. Now, for this game, I'll take Miami in this one. The fact is, Curry, with the amount that he's been forced to exert energy-wise for this offense, scoring back-to-back 40 pieces against San Antonio, a meaningless 30 and change against Orlando yesterday, he's got to be exhausted at this point. And Kerr, when you go out of your way to mention how bad the schedule is, you're kind of setting yourself up for benching some veteran players because you're acknowledging that the actual spot is atrocious, which it is. But it wouldn't shock me if Curry sat. Kuminga might not play. We saw the Warriors in the postseason without Curry, and it was a mess. So I think Miami wins. The fact is they had a nice win against the Knicks in their last game. They were at home. There's no travel involved. It's a good spot, not to mention on the boards. Miami, assuming Bam plays, should dominate the boards in this game. So if I'm going to eliminate the second chance points for Golden State and Curry might not play, which means Draymond might get ejected in the first half. There's a lot of variables here. I'll go with the Heat to cover in this game. But a reminder, with Curry potentially not playing, keep an eye out for Draymond getting ejected. So keep an eye out for that one. But either way, give me the Heat in this game. For the total, I mean, when the Heat play, I cannot take an under. I just can't do it. They play so fast that I can't actually consider an under. So I'll go over in this game, but not really a strong opinion. Any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I would go Miami team total over versus the Warriors. Just simply not just the unknown. I mean, we don't really know what they're going to do with their lineup, and it obviously it's a couple hours away from actually putting out an injury report. So I would go with the Heat team total over versus the full game.
Yeah, I see people mentioning the Jimmy Butler revenge game. Oh, because he's going to be back in Miami. Yeah, maybe. Like, if you want to go for Butler revenge game, just take his points. But I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually win the game. We saw Curry go for 30 and change yesterday. They still were really never – I don't know if they were really leading that game ever in the second half. It felt like Orlando was kind of able to win without fully blowing the game open the entire way through. So even one good game from Butler might not even be enough for Golden State to win this game. But I don't mind some props on Butler. If you want to argue that Curry's not going to play, Butler might take it himself. We'll go from there. But either way, a point is I like the Heat in this game. Moving on to the first of many blowouts that we're going to talk about on this show. The Wizards are taking on the Timberwolves. The Wizards can't even be competitive against the Nets. This team is awful. For the injury report, Sarr is questionable, who might be the best player on their team. For Minnesota, I see McDaniels is questionable and Shannon is out, but you still have Ant who's healthy, Randall's healthy, etc. But McDaniels does have a wrist sprain, so we'll see if he ends up sitting in this game. Now, the Wizards are, do we want to argue the worst team in the league? Are they worse than Indiana? Are they better than Indiana? I think I would vote for them being the worst.
Yeah, probably like 1A and 1B.
Indiana also lost to the Nets, but the Wizards got blown out at home by the Nets. Like, that's a pretty solid litmus test for tanking. The Wizards are in their own sphere at this point in time. So you have Minnesota, who has been playing well lately. Easy schedule, but you know what? Wins are wins. Beat Dallas by 24. They were up by 30 in that game. They lost to Denver. They beat Sacramento by 14, beat Utah on the road by 7. We know Utah's tricky on the road. Look, the question is if the Wizards are actually competitive or not. Like, we're not going to pick them to win any games because this team is absolutely terrible. But I'll ask you, do you think they keep it within 2 touchdowns and a field goal?
No, I don't think so. I like Minnesota in the game. I like their team total over. They're 5-1 straight up in their last 6. They've been playing really well since kind of Ant, challenge those guys to be better defensively. Washington. I'm going with the team total over. I mean, Washington has a negative 16.7 point differential, which is kind of literally right on this number. Yep. Minnesota scored 120 plus in 4 of the last 5, and they've been good against weaker competition. I think you just named out a couple of them. They're shooting about 39% from 3, 6 players in double figures. I mean, I just don't see a world where they don't score 130 plus. Washington's allowed 125 plus in 4 of the last 5. Including 129 to Brooklyn, who can't score against anybody for the most part. They're last in scoring defense, 129.6 points per game allowed is the Wizards. I think they have a tough time. Minnesota should bury them, so I'm going Minnesota team total over. I would lay it though if I had to.
Yeah, I think they're going to kill this team. I mean, I don't really have much else to add. I see a question in the comment section about Rudy double-double. The show does hate Rudy. Aaron is right because he's lost me a lot of money over the years. Based on spot, I do like Gobert for double-double, but the problem is if they blow him out, is he going to play at all in the fourth quarter, which is a problem. But the Wizards stink, and if Sarr doesn't play, their front court's even worse than it was previously. I don't mind the price. Plus 110, I think, is a very good price for Gobert double-double. So I would actually consider taking it. But the problem is I do have to point out that Gobert has cost us a lot of money on the show, failing in good spots. But based on the spot in the matchup, plus 110 is a very good price for Gobert double-double. So I don't hate it, but I more dislike the person involved behind the bet. Anyway, moving on to the next game here. Another blowout potential. The Nuggets laying 14.5 on the road, taking on the Pelicans for this one. We saw the Nuggets blow a massive spread and actually lost outright against the Bulls. Nice win there by Chicago. For this one, though, taking on the Pelicans, who are terrible, 2-12. You have Zion, who's questionable. Again, what else is new? Besides that, a couple injuries still. No DeJounte, no Poole. You're looking at Denver, who's going to be without Brown for a bit, and no Strawther. Now, Denver should be motivated because they lost a game to Chicago in a game that people thought they were going to win. Giddey had a good game. Vucevic was terrible, but had the big three-pointer at the end. Joker had a triple-double in three quarters, still lost. So I'll ask you, Denver's in a good spot to take some frustrations out, to bounce back and bury Denver. Last time we saw the Pelicans, they got killed by Oklahoma City, like every other team in the league. I'll ask you on the road, though, with Borrego as coach now, do you want to take the points, or do you think Denver, after losing to Chicago, just comes out and smacks this team?
Yeah, I think they smack them. So basically, the number kind of doesn't make sense to me because, they beat the Pelicans 122-85 at the end of October when they were laying 12 at home with Zion. Now this is 14.5, likely no Zion. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me at all. So I think it should be higher, probably around 16-ish. I mean, they don't have an answer for. I mean, now granted, nobody has an answer for Joker, but typically this team does not have any answer for Joker at all. He went for 21, 12, and 10. Obviously, in a damn near 40-point game, he's not going to play a ton. Cam kind of came to life in his last game, 19 points, 5 of 7 from deep, and he's going to have to show up a little bit more because of the absence of Brown. So I'm expecting Denver to come out guns blazing. They're horrible. Pelicans are horrible. I do like Borregos, but they're horrible.
You could get Phil Jackson to coach this team; it'd still be terrible. This team's
they have covered 6 of 10, so I mean that's a positive. But if you contrast that to the Nuggets in this role, they really thrive. They're 9-3 as a favorite. Typically cover these big numbers against bad teams, so I'll lay it with Denver. I don't think that. I don't think the Pelicans can have an answer for what they're going to do on the defensive end as well. I don't think they have enough firepower to score.
Yeah, I think that Joker has a triple-double in three quarters going into this game. Now, if you want a bolder play, which I don't mind, I don't know how many he's had this season. I have to actually pull it up. I didn't mind Queen double-double in this game. I've seen opposing centers have success against Joker before. I do think he's been pretty close. He's had 9-8, 9-7, 9-10. He's starting now because Borrego's actually using him in the starting lineup. He's had 0 double-doubles this season, but he's been kind of close the last couple games. His double-doubles plus 430, which I think is a good price for Queen, for a guy that's playing 25-plus minutes. I didn't mind that. So I don't mind Queen double-double at plus 430. But either way, I do think that the Nuggets probably bury him in this game, and we'll go from there. Moving on to the next game, another blowout potential. You have the Westbrook revenge game against OKC. For this one, Thunder laying 18.5. The over-under's at 232.5. You have no Sabonis and no Keegan Murray. And for Oklahoma City, you still have no J-Dub. Who cares? They're 14-1. No Wiggins and whatever. So Oklahoma City, we saw beat the Pelicans the last time out. They win pretty much every game, and they should bury Sacramento. Now, Westbrook might have a good stat game, but to be honest, I don't really care. This team stinks. They're 3-11. They're an awful team. Thunder are 14-1, 6-0 at home, and against the Kings this season, they won the first meeting this year. Sorry, they played twice. They won the first game at home by 6. They won the second game in the head-to-head, which was about 2 weeks ago, by 31 points on the road. The Kings have scored less than 102 in both games against the Thunder. They can't score. So I don't see them covering this one. I got OKC in a rout, but you have anything to disagree with me about here? Because I just see a very ugly game.
Yeah, not at all. I like the team total over for OKC. 6-game winning streak. It started in Sacramento earlier this month, the game that you were talking about. Average margin of victory, 21.3. None of those games have been decided by fewer than 13 points. I think they roll here. The Kings have allowed 646 total points in the last 5 games. Team total over for me for OKC. I would lay it too. Honestly, if you want a fun little bit, I would parlay these big favorites. Like just lay the number with all 3. Good price.
Yeah, I mean, usually in the NBA, we wait until December or January before we get multiple 15-plus point favorites on the same card. Yeah, we're about a month and a half in, 2 months in, and it feels like half the card is already full of double-digit favorites. But I also see JR saying I should stop praising these soft pseudo bigs. I like Queen. I think Queen's a good player. I get what you're trying to say. He's a bit more finesse than most other bigs, but I think Queen's pretty good, or at least based on what the Pelicans have to offer. I mean, the Pelicans stink. So at least I know what I'm getting from Queen. Queen's not bad. I think you'd want to be more physical on the boards, but I think Queen's pretty good. Would I have given up a first-round pick in this upcoming draft to get him? No. But I do think Queen's a good player, so he's worth some praise, at least for that one. But either way, once again, I think Oklahoma City kills him. If you want to argue for the Oklahoma City 100 points in the first 3 quarters angle, I don't mind that either. I think this game gets ugly early and often. I got the Thunder to kill them in this game. Moving on to what could be a fun game if Brunson plays, because you have a Brunson revenge game in Dallas. Brunson's questionable for this one. OG's still out, but besides that, the Knicks are fully healthy. For the Mavericks, you're looking at Flagg, who's questionable, Gafford, who is probable. I'm assuming Flagg's going to play, but he's an illness, so we'll see if he ends up playing or not. But either way, Gafford might return. No AD, no Exum, no Kyrie, no Nemhard, but we'll see if Flagg goes or not. Now, the Knicks this season have been fine. They are 8-5. They're laying 5.5 in this one on the road. Dallas, we know, is awful. And for the over-under, I see 230.5. Now, I am going to ask you, though, Lonte, the Knicks, despite being a good team, have kind of underachieved so far this season, as they are 8-5. Plus, they are 0-4 on the road. So they are poor on the road. Dallas, though, is 3-7 at home. Do you care at all about the Knicks' road record, or do you think it's more opponent-based? Because we know Dallas is an abysmal basketball team.
Yeah, probably a combination of both. They haven't covered either on the road, so that's what we care about the most. They've also, I think this is the least amount of road games by anybody this season. So
yeah, they played well, like 7 straight at home.
Yeah,
at one point.
Yeah. So, and I mean, they got the Champions Classic there. They had it there last night, so I can understand a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you're telling me Brunson is playing, I would probably sit this one out. But if he is not playing, I like Dallas. I mean, outside of the Wolves game, Dallas has been fighting. I mean, they've been really, really competitive. I mean, they're just not very good, but they've been competitive. They can't close. Like, they've had games won, and I think about the Clippers game, they had kind of won.
Clippers game was double overtime. Portland game was overtime. They won that one. Yeah, and they had the Bucks game where they turned it over to Kuzma on the inbound pass.
Yeah, so they've been right there. I mean, just can't finish. And all those guys were talking about, the continuity issues that they've had with guys being in and out of the lineup. I think they're going to get Lively and Gafford back, so that's big. But the most important thing is they got to be able to make some threes. The Knicks are horrible at defending the three. They have been for, since this kind of core group has got together. So they struggle to defend the three. They got to be able to knock down some threes. So they're not really a good three-point shooting team, Dallas that is. But I think they will be able to knock down some wide-open ones because the Knicks allow a lot of wide-open threes. So just a caveat, if Jalen Brunson is playing, I don't want anything to do with this game. But if he's not playing, I want Dallas.
Yeah, I think that this line looks very trappy because the Knicks were a preseason projected 50-plus win team. Brunson might return in this game. They're against an awful opponent, and they're only laying 5.5. This line does feel very trappy, especially if Flagg's not playing because of illness. So I do wonder if maybe the sportsbooks know something for this one. But, I mean, the Knicks are clearly the better team. I mean, the issue is actually trusting Dallas to hang in there and to keep the game relatively close. The problem is I don't know if Dallas can score enough. The scoring numbers recently are a bit inflated based on the overtime games they've played. The Clippers, though, stink. and Harden beat them with a 40-point triple-double. Portland's been struggling lately, and they won that one in overtime. Played in Minnesota right after it, lost by 24. I mean, this team's really bad. The Knicks probably should have beaten Miami in both games, did lose the last meeting, but they can score, and I'm not sure if Dallas can, but I understand the Knicks are just not a good road team. They lost Chicago by 10, lost to Miami twice on the road. They also ended up playing, so I'm trying to find the other road game they played. What was the other road game they played? Miami. They played Milwaukee, and they lost that one too. So decent competition. The Mavericks are probably the worst team they've played on the road this season. So I guess I'm on the Knicks, but I do want to see if Brunson plays or not. Without Brunson, they look fine. But I do wonder if you're a bit concerned, Brunson going back to Dallas, a revenge game spot, does he go a bit too, I'd say, superhero mode here? Too much of a revenge spot where Brunson just tries to iso ball, kind of ball hogs a bit, and takes his team out of the game. Is that a possibility too? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's always a possibility, but I mean, yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, I think Brunson does a good job of not like trying too hard. I think he plays.
Oh no, I agree normally, but in this environment, do I think he might forget the plot? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I think, yeah, Brunson will be fine. I don't think he'll do too much.
Okay, I was more about this game against Dallas, but then again, Nico's not there anymore. So
I don't think it.
But I'll go with the Knicks, but it's mainly just based on how much I hate Dallas's basketball team. Moving on to the last game, what could be the most fun game on the card based on the total. Bulls laying 3.5 on the road against the Trailblazers. Total of 244.5. Portland's been going through it lately. They got killed by Phoenix yesterday. They have been a bit shorthanded, though. Drew Holiday didn't play. We know Scoot's still out, and Jeremy Grant didn't play yesterday, but the Bulls are favored on the road. For the injury report for these teams, I see Grant is questionable, Holiday is questionable, still no Scoot, and that's kind of it. The other guys I don't care about. For Chicago, I see Jalen Smith is probable, Trey Jones is questionable, but it feels like everybody is healthy. So Portland was off to a good start the season. Now they are 6-8. So they've been struggling a bit lately as Portland has been going through it. Portland has officially lost 3 straight, and they've lost 5 of their last 6. For Chicago, they were struggling a bit lately. Then they beat Denver on the road on a back-to-back. Very good win off a double overtime loss the day prior. So an insane spot, and Chicago found a way to win. Giddey is a demon. He had a triple-double again against Utah, and then he ended up helping lead the way against the Nuggets in the last game. I'll ask you, though, because Portland plays fast, defensively not very good. Then again, Drew Holiday helps with that. But their games are very high scoring. So are the Bulls. I think I like the over in this game, even though the total feels pretty high. I don't want to lay 3.5 on the road, though, with Chicago. They're only 2-5 on the road. But I'll go with the over in this game. I'll just pick a bunch of points.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to take an over, but I was reading some stuff about Splitter, what Splitter was saying, and he talked about needing to slow the pace down due to the low energy levels. Now, he could be talking about just that specific game, but he wanted to slow the game down because they don't have the requisite pieces to kind of run the way they want to. The opposing team has kind of dictated what they wanted to do. And shout out to Caleb Love, man. He had 17 and 7 rebounds against Phoenix. I think the lack of ball handlers and a 2-point guard is hurting him, which is why they had 19 turnovers in the last game and why Drew is so important. I mean, they've allowed 125 plus in 3 straight, including 138 to that Dallas team that we just talked about, whose offense is horrible. Now, I do like Chicago in the game. They've won 7 of the last 8 against Portland. Chicago is coming off that big win. Could be a letdown, but
at least they have a day off in between.
Yeah, with the defense that Portland's been playing, I don't know if I can back them. I backed them last night, thinking that they would have a good bounce back effort. They had it in the first half, just didn't have it in the second half. So I'm gonna take Chicago. I'm gonna take the team total over instead of the full game over.
Yeah, I think, though, if you are taking Chicago, mainly because of how bad Portland's defense is, then it sounds like you want a Bulls team total over for this game, if you had to go for something like that. But I do think I'm going to go with the I'll go with the over. For the side, it's honestly tricky because I don't think the Bulls are a great road team, and it could be a letdown spot for them. But Portland did play yesterday. I'm hoping after they no-show the second half that Thiago gets his guys up for this game. So I'll go for the over instead for this one. I see a couple of comments about King of the Court involving Luka winning yesterday. I had Luka, $30. I'll take it for a free bet. So I'll take it. But either way, once again, we'll see if Portland plays better with Drew potentially back in the lineup for this game. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the entire card for Wednesday. Time to move on into the Lock and Dog picks. Before we get into the Lock and Dog, remember they're brought to you by our sponsor, Rhythm. So they're crushing in college football, the NFL. They also have the NBA and college basketball. You check out their cash prize every week that they give out for free. So track some bets in the app to get access to the giveaway. Track 5 bets for a model to be built, and you can win $1K. And we've got a discount code for them. So if you use the code SGPN25, you download the app, you get a quarter off first month. Download them once again, promo code SGPN25 for a quarter off first month. Promo code SGPN25. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the games for Wednesday. Time to go on into the Lock and Dog picks. Lonte, what do you like as your Lock and Dog for the Wednesday card?
Yeah, for the lock, let's go with a team total over. Let's just go with OKC. I think they're going to bury them. Let me get the right price on that. That price is my bad podcasting. They're 125 and a half. I think they soar over that. Obviously, I think they get to that 100 in the first 3 quarters as well. So over 125 and a half. The Kings defense has been horrible. Like I said, 646 points allowed in the last 3. I think OKC has its way with them. They scored 130 on the road against them already this year. So let's go with the team total over. And it's not a ton of dogs that I like, so I parlay 2 different dogs. Give me Cleveland, give me Philly on the money line parlay together, plus 335.
All right, so for mine, I'm going to go with a player prop as my lock. I'll go for Andre Drummond double-double, minus 135. I feel like with the injuries to Philly's front court, he's going to have to play a bunch of minutes. Drummond has been going crazy lately because the usage is there, and he's always been a good rebounder. So now you combine the two, and you're in a good spot. But to read off the actual numbers for Drummond over the last couple of games, last game, 14 and 18. Game before that, 12 and 11, 14 and 13, 17 and 12. So 4 straight double-doubles against the Clippers in the last game. He played 38 minutes. He's played at least 33 minutes in 4 straight. They have no center depth at all with no Embiid, with no Bona. Even Oubre, who's an okay rebounder, is also out for this game. So based on overall usage and playing time, I like the spot for Drummond. Give me Drummond double-double at minus 135 as my lock for the show. For my dog, I haven't picked Denver to bounce back after losing to Chicago, and we know the Pelicans don't play any defense. Given the Nuggets to score 100 points in the first 3 quarters at plus 190, I see a high-scoring game. I think Denver, after once again no showing that game against Chicago defensively, I do think they'll look better, but I do think that New Orleans' defense is a complete lost cause. Good enough for me. Give me Denver to score 100 points in the first 3 quarters at plus 190 as my dog for the show. Moving on to underdog. Lonte, any thoughts for underdog? Do you want to just recycle Drummond stuff?
Drummond is fine. I like that a lot.
Okay. We'll take the Drummond double-double, so that'll be the first choice we have.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying. Was there anything else that we liked together? I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, I was just wondering if there's any players you wanted to go after today. Do you want LaMelo assists against Indiana?
Yeah, PA. I like his PA.
Okay. I was concerned about the PA for min restriction purposes. I'm still not sure what the story is with that.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
You can get his assists at 8.5, which I think has some value to it. I mean, Indiana, they can't stop anything. So I'm fine with LaMelo assists there at 8.5. Yeah. And then trying to think of what else we actually like.
I like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I don't know which one you prefer, but I think they're going to have big games, specifically on the rebounding end. They're going to have to board with Houston. So,
well, I am going to ask though, if we like the Bulls, do you want to just go for like giddy PRA or something?
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Because the total's at 240 and change, and we're picking the Bulls to be competitive in this game. Cool. So I didn't mind giddy PRA, just picking a monster game from him once again. That's a 37.5. For the record, he's had at least 40 PRA in 6 of the last 8 games. So we'll go for the higher on that. So once again, the 3-pick entry for underdog, we are going to go with Andre Drummond, higher half a double-double, LaMelo higher 8.5 assists, and Josh Giddey higher 37.5 PRA. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Back once again tomorrow. Lonte, anything else you want to add?
That's it, man. Ugly card, but hopefully we got some winners.
Yep, should be fun. Either way, though, point is we're back again tomorrow. Till next time, find me on Twitter, Russian Radio. Find him on Twitter at XXLonteXX. Good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Also, check out the NBA Gambling Podcast on Twitter at NBA at SGPN. So check that out, and also like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to leave a rating and a review on Spotify or Apple.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Basketball.